Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Victory Leo, and here he is. But before we truly get into it, this is a special video. 400 videos, we got to do something super duper special. And this is what's going to be super special about this, is finally you guys get to see the face behind the camera. And we are doing it because, obviously, like I said, 400 videos, a very, very special toy, not just within the fandom, but in my heart, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But we are doing this because 400 videos, and almost here in June, I think, June or July, one of the two, this channel is going to turn 5 years old. And especially for such a toy of such gravity, if you will, i.e. Victory Leo. I don't own Star Saber, so we're not going to do Victory Saber, unfortunately. That kind of sucks. But nevertheless, this is a toy that deserves a special time, a special kind of video, a special everything. I reviewed a lot of things. The only thing that kind of sort of comes close, in my personal opinion, to this toy as reputation and all those sorts of things is probably Fortress Maximus. Other than that, nothing compares to this toy in my collection. Unfortunately, I love a lot of things. I love a lot more toys other than this guy, but this guy is just special. And just looking at his design with the ginormous 3 guns that you're staring down, the saber teeth at the front, the opening mouth with their sharp, angry teeth can open wide open to just attack guys. The nice big lion mode. Just, this toy is special. This toy is completely different. I absolutely love it. And this lion mode is no slouch to that. I love Gaoon, and you can clearly tell that Gaoon was definitely inspired by this toy and by this character. Because just look at the design, the big armament on top. Gaoon has the big missile pods on top. He has these 3 giant guns. The very pronounced mane, obviously not as pronounced as Gaoon, but he definitely has the nice pronounced mane with these like sort of veins of like what would be fur, if you will. The big powerful legs. The colors, obviously, colors are very similar. Gaoon has a little bit more white than Victory Leo here, but still, nevertheless, just the same basic sort of design. Obviously, because he doesn't walk, you do get some articulation in the legs. These front legs are going to become his arms, if it's not pretty obvious, or if you don't know anything about Victory Leo, but he does have articulation, and this can rotate, they can go out, and they can extend, or not extend, they can rotate on the elbow. Then these back legs can just swivel. You can count that as a knee, but not really, because you can't really do anything with it. So overall, this is an amazing lion mode. I absolutely love it. I love the look of it. Love the something about it. The guns do pull a lot of the weight because, we can just take these off really quick because it's not super difficult. And just take them off. And he does lose quite a bit of the pizzazz, if you will, without the guns on him. But still, either way, he just looks cool and incredible. Just like this. But of course, like I said, the guns do pull a lot of the weight. He does look just incredible with the guns on him. The big gun that I'm holding right now, this big one, obviously, if you can tell, does shoot a missile. It is a little weird. I'll just flip that down so you can see. So you can see the little yellow tab. So when you push the missile in, at least on mine, you push the missile in, and then you have to almost keep it up, push it in, and then you have to lock it into place by pushing it back forward. It's not super powerful. I wish it was. I think by this time in the Transformers and just toys in general, Japan kind of got a little bit soft on their like spring-loaded missiles, because that's always been notorious of them, that they really don't care, and that they can, have a firing missile that shoots at like Mach 1, when over here in America it can't go more than like nothing. It just have to have the force to exit the barrel. But at least mine, whether I'm doing something wrong or it's just mine has degraded and I'm just wrong, but mine at least isn't the same. I was expecting it to shoot like way across my room when I got this guy, but it didn't, unfortunately. But still, even if it's a gigantic cannon, and I can't deny that it looks cool, and the fact that it does shoot missiles is already a plus up on top of its looks. But yeah, this is just a timeless look for any toy. Just a timeless design. There's a reason why this toy is a grail for a lot of people. Why people are constantly looking for this toy. Whether they have a Star Saber that they're trying to turn into Victory Saber with this toy, or if they're just looking for just this guy in particular. Because there's definitely a reason behind this toy being a grail. Definitely can see that. He necessarily hasn't been a grail for me, but might as well segue into how I got this toy. I got this toy while I was at my basic training graduation, if you guys don't know. Through the span of May till like December of 2025, I was gone for Army basic training and Army AIT training. And during my graduation at Fort Jackson, I went to a toy store and I got this guy. This was the first thing I bought with my Army money. I'll be showing you guys the box because I love the box of this guy. Just love the vintage G1 boxes. They're just like the toy itself. It's just timeless. And the Victory boxes, I think, are some of the best. But you'll definitely see how much I paid for this guy, and I did not get a good deal. I definitely paid what I would have on eBay or wherever for this toy, especially with this box and in the condition that it's in. Mine doesn't have the stickers on it. If you are keen-eyed, he doesn't have the stickers on him. He is in his stock or plain configuration, I guess. Mine didn't come with this one didn't come with the instructions or sticker sheet, which I don't really care. Wasn't going to put the stickers on, and you don't really need the instruction for this toy, which we'll just jump straight into because it's very basic. So we'll pull off this gun right here and put it down here. I personally prefer the look to have these guns on his back and not on his forearms, but I will show that off, but we'll just leave them right there for right now. So the legs, you will depress these two yellow tabs, and you have to do this going, I think you have to depress them at least going into line mode, transforming it into this mode, but I just do it out of habit to transform them into robot mode. So same thing over here, just get them all done, and then you'll just rotate the lion legs up like so, and I think I forgot to flip the feet down, but simply the feet fold up and they fold down to form feet, obviously. So now arms are super simple. We'll just rotate these down and then fold that flap up and then just straighten the arm out a little bit, and I'll fold that one out because that's the side that I like to put the gun on. And the gun is interchangeable on each side. It's not dependent on one side or the other. So same thing over here, just flip that down, flip that up, and now straighten the arm out. And now, pretty simple with the head, fold the saber teeth out of the way and flip up this faceplate, and there he is. And now we can bring in the gigantic gun, which is literally the exact same height, if not taller, than himself. And we can just put that right on the side of him. So now, here he is, and this is something about this design, just like the lion I said, something about it is just timeless. Something about the look of this toy just works. Like, the face, obviously, it's very basic, it's very stark, very plain, if you will, but something about it just has like a personality to it. I don't know how to describe that, but it just fits the toy. It just fits this whole design. I love the chrome on the front. He doesn't have as much chrome as Gaon, obviously, but just this toy, like I said in the Lion mode, is just timeless. It just has this sort of design, just like a lot of the G1 toys, a lot of the older, just Japanese robot toys, like Super Sentai toys, before like it became Power Rangers and everything, like the old 70s ones, a lot of the Brave toys, things like of that nature. They're just timeless designs. I don't know how to really describe that or to go in depth. Is that just, it has sort of like a swagger to it that just fits. I don't really necessarily know how to describe that feeling, except for just saying you have to kind of hold it, kind of have to just experience it, kind of like G1 Optimus Prime. Is that you just look at the toy and it's like, yeah, that works. It's just it looks awesome. You can just tell that it works, and this design definitely does. With the guns on top, this is how I personally like it, with the guns on top, and I will really quick do it the right way and put it on his forearms, or at least the way the box and the instructions probably say, and to put these on his forearms just for the rest of the video, just because. And this is a nice look, having the guns on the arms, but it kind of takes away a little bit of his presence with the gun sticking out on top. It just makes him look, I think, better. Just like the how some of the like old samurai armor had those flags sticking out the top. That's kind of maybe what it reminds me of, with the guns on the back, or it emulates sort of how like Brawl, the barrel sticks out on top of his head, or like Kingdom Slammer with the barrel sticking out on top of his head, or like what's the other one? G1 Blitzwing, he does that too, or Blitzwing in general. I personally prefer that look, but I can definitely see how this is also really cool. Or like if you switch this gun to the back, like put this on the back, so you get the same effect, but now you get these guns like that. That's not as cool. I like the two guns over the shoulders, basically, but still looks pretty cool. Still has that still timeless design, just in a different way, in a different form. And I really do like that. And obviously, because these little red bits are on hinges, you can then flip these smaller ones, up as like shoulder cannons. And I really like that. I like that playability, and everything. But like I said, we're just gonna leave the guns on his forearms right now. But just a super fun, super cool toy. He is expensive. As I said, I'll show up the box. And I'll just do that really quick right now, because we've kind of shown off everything we can, since we don't have a Star Saber to combine him with. And I think I said I'm not going to do the whole V-Star. Like, he can turn into a flight base mode type thing. I'm not going to do that, or I'm pretty sure he can. Maybe I'm getting that confused with the Victory, the new HasLab one, or newish HasLab one. I think he can do it, but I'm not super certain. I'm not gonna, because I don't have the V-Star, i.e., I don't have Star Saber to do that with, so we're just gonna put him off to the side so we can take a look at his box. And I think the box is so timeless, and you can see I paid $300 for this guy, and you're not going to go too many places. If he is loose and doesn't have the box, you might get him for a little bit less than $300, but I guarantee, at least here in the States, unless you're going to a convention of some sort, you're not really going to find one that has all of its pieces, the guns and everything, in pretty good condition, that's not yellowed. Super duper yellowed, for probably less than $200. You're probably going to stay around the $250 or $300 price tag, if you're looking for this toy. But nevertheless, if you want this toy, you really like it, or you have a Star Saber, I would really recommend him. But the box it just looks incredible. Like the box art right here, just I love the look. Obviously, the toy can't pull off any of the poses that he's doing right now, but just something about it just looks incredible. I love the look of it. The toy pictures, the photography of him going into Star Saber to form Victory Saber just looks incredible. The pictures on the side with Victory Saber right there, Victory Leo, and then Star Saber just looks incredible. Just this box, the box art right there just looks super duper incredible. And this side is just Victory Leo on his own, and then Victory Leo right there. That's kind of him transforming, the standard G1 transforming thing. And then there's the bottom, just more of that. But it's just such a time, just like the toy itself, such a timeless box. I love it, 1989. Just super, super cool. Love the box, love the toy. Everything about this toy just is awesome. He's not perfect, obviously. I guarantee, like the KFC, the Keith's Fantasy Club third-party one is probably really good too, especially since it can combine with the Masterpiece Star Saber. I'm pretty sure they can, since he can do that. And then the HasLab, and I don't know about the Robot Masters one. I just know that it exists. But nevertheless, I think there are definitely better options out there, especially when this guy costs so much. Like, the reason why I haven't bought a Star Saber to go with this guy is I can't find a good Star Saber that has the pieces that I want for around the same price as him. I don't really want to spend $300, and most of the time I wouldn't have spent $300 on this guy either. That's why it's taken me so long to really get one, because I watched Victory and got into Victory and sort of the Japanese G1 back years ago. Years and years ago. I was probably 12 to 14 when I watched the show on YouTube at school. I just watched the sub, watched during school. So I've definitely been a fan of Victory Leo Star Saber, all the Victory cast for easily 7 years. Easily 7 years. But if anyone wants to do the math to find out kind of how old I am, go ahead. But this toy, that $300 price tag has always been kind of far away. The only things I've always considered about that price is bigger toys around Titan scale, or like Fortress Maximus. Never sort of a toy like this. This toy was always something that'd be like way later on, like 30s, 40s, just getting around to it kind of, because having a bit more of a disposable income, and I did at the moment I got this, and really that's what it was. That's the reason why I hold this toy in my hand, is that it was just the time, it was just the moment. I had no expectations of what this toy store was going to look like when I got there, during my graduation, or after my graduation, to be more specific. We went to it, I think it's called LT Toys. It's in, I can't remember what the city is. It's like Charlotte, South Carolina. I might have got that wrong. I'm not. All I know is that it's around Fort Jackson, the basic training site. Just look up like LT Toys. I think that's the name. You'll probably see it, and it's an incredible place. They have a ton of Transformers. They had, I can't remember who it is. It was like Toy World, the super old King Poseidon, that was there. I can't remember who made that. It was the same people that made the third party Victory, not Victory Leo, Leo Kaiser. The same company made the King Poseidon. But nevertheless, I walked in, saw all these toys. I did see a Terminus Giganticus. It didn't have a price on it. I almost bought it, but I thought I should be a little bit more responsible until I saw this guy. I saw it, and I was like, I I walked around the store, made sure I didn't want anything else, and there was a lot of cool things there. Um, Obviously, that was easily 9 months ago since I graduated basic training. Um, if I'm doing the math in my head correctly, easily around 7 to 9 months ago. So there's probably a different variety of toys there. I would definitely really want to go back someday. Um, to go back to that store because easily of all the toy stores I've been to, which aren't too many, it was easily the best. But I walked around the store, made sure I knew what I wanted, um, because I knew for how special the day was. Seeing my family again and just graduating basic training, I knew I had to walk away with something, and I just kind of said, it has to happen. Um, it has to happen. I know $300 is a lot. This guy came out to be like 327 with taxes and everything because I think it's Charlotte, they have some weird city tax there. So if you're going to spend a lot of money there, watch out for their tax. It's like 11% or something crazy like that. Um, Something like super duper crazy, like 11%, 15% on top of what you're paying. So yeah, I paid like I mean not 127, that would have been steal, like 327, 330 for this toy, all said and done. I don't know how much it would have been here. I live in Iowa. I don't know how much it would have been here with taxes, because taxes about 7%. I can't do that math in my brain. But nevertheless, I paid a decent bit over 300 for this. But nevertheless, it was more of the moment. And I'll throw a picture up right here of me at my basic training graduation. I think I look pretty nice in my dress uniform, but nevertheless, this was just the time to buy a toy like this. I knew that King Poseidon was going to be way too much. I knew Terminus Giganticus was going to be way, way too much. The toy notoriously goes for a ton of money on the aftermarket. So does this toy, but I knew it was going to be more than $300. It was probably going to be closer to $600 to $800 if I was gonna guess. But this toy just felt right. I could have spent my $300 probably way better in that store. I could have walked out with a ton more toys that I still would have been happy with. But this toy just is a symbol of that accomplishment to me. A symbol of the time I spent with my family on that day. Obviously, of all the things I should be happy about, I should be happy about the other things that happened on that day. But this toy is just the remembrance of that. When I can look up at this toy up on the top of my new gold shelves that I showed off a couple weeks ago, look at this toy, look at his little head poking out amongst all the other things, all the other awesome toys that he is surrounded by. Just that this toy will always have cherished memories attached to it, because ultimately without those memories he is just a pretty okay toy, kind of like Gaon, kind of like all those other toys of his era. Not perfect, not bad, um I think he kind of skates by on that he combined Star Saber to form Victory Saber, and given that he's expensive, I think this toy kind of skates by um on that sort of clout and everything, because like I said, there are definitely better options if you really want a representation of this toy. You could, I think, to my knowledge, I haven't really looked at a HasLab, but you could buy a HasLab, to my knowledge, at $100 to $200 on top of what I paid for this guy, and get a toy plus Star Saber that's ultimately better. Obviously, I don't think they're bigger or worth their weight as much as this guy, but you can spend $300 way better than on a toy like this, unfortunately. And I'll say that for a lot of the toys I've spent a ton of money on. There's only a few exceptions, and I'll get into that into a later date. They're all, I don't know how to point. They're all up there. That guy, those guys, all around there. That whole group up there, Gurren Lagann, and and up in my right hand corner, you're probably left if I'm getting my directions correctly. All of them up there, all the Jay Decker stuff. As much as I spent a ton of money on them, I still am looking for a Gun Max. But as much money as I spent on those guys, they're probably worth it. But unfortunately, $300 is quite a bit of money for this guy. If you could go to a convention, if you could go take a trip to Japan, obviously you're going to spend $3,000 on a toy like this, given flying over there. But you probably could end up buying one for cheaper because they're easier to find, I would assume, over there. But buy or conventions, or even being able to take a trip, like I said, to Japan to buy this toy, you probably get them for a better price. When most of the time, if you're going on eBay, or if you end up at a smaller collector fair type thing and you see a toy like this, or even just a toy store like I did here in the States, you're gonna pay the premium for a toy like this. I definitely don't regret it. He's not a bad toy. I don't feel ripped off, and I'm not saying that he is not worth $300. He definitely is. He's hefty, he's chunky, he's rare, and he just has this sort of presence that he does. So really, it's really hard for me to recommend it because really, to each their own. If you love Victory like I do, if you love this toy, and obviously if you have the cash to spill on this toy, I would really recommend it, as I will. But if you just want him as a character, if you just want the character, not necessarily the toy, I would definitely say, unfortunately, look for the HasLab. It's still expensive. It's still kind of not worth the money, especially the new money that it is now. It's just really difficult to talk about this toy and this character because no matter what way you cut it, you're going to spend a lot of money trying to find a representation of him if you love him that much. But like I said, to be brutally honest, if he wasn't in that toy store that day, I would have bought something else. But the stars aligned that day, even though it was during the day. The stars aligned. It was kind of like the Gao Gai Gar at BotCon 2 years ago. He was just there. It was in the moment. I had to get it. I had to bring him home with me. And unfortunately, I didn't get to experience this guy until this past December when I got back home from AIT. He had to go back home with my mom and my brother. But either way, it's pretty cool, pretty awesome of a toy. Really, really cool. But yeah, that is really all I have to say. So, till next time, see ya.